more then about the suspension of Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane. We're joined tonight by one South African movement leader, Mmusi Maimane. Mmusi, always good to have you on the program. So the DA leader, John Steenhuisen, says the suspension of the Public Protector calls for celebration. Do you agree?
Good evening, and good evening to fellow South Africans. It's no secret that the Public Protector had faced a number of challenges and has lost a number of court cases. In this particular instance, the question on the table is whether the President is the best person suited to make the decision. Given the battles that have ensued between the President and the Public Protector, I would have rather an independent judicial process would have found a way to be able to make a decision on a suspension. Because what is now being read as is intra-political infighting within the ANC that are now playing out in public display. And so I would urge that in this instance, it would have been crucial for an independent judiciary to make a decision, to allow the President to act with impartiality, and given that there's an investigation into the Phala matters, that those must not now be seen as the President defending himself against those by suspending one of the people that was going to investigate the matter.
Do you believe then that the President, as things stand, is too compromised to make a call on the suspension of the Public Protector, even though she had been requested to make submissions, and indeed she did?
Undeniably, I've always held that particularly dealing with the Zondo Commission, and that the part is the party principally, as accused number one, using his own words. We should actually allow a judicial process to make a recommendation. The state, in fact, the government has been dysfunctional for a long time. We are operating on autopilot.
All right, Mmusi, I'm not sure if you're still able to hear me. We're having a bit of an issue there. We keep losing you. I know you're on a cell phone connection. I'm not sure if you're moving around or anything of that sort. But if you're able to hear me, just please confirm.
I can hear you loud and clearly.
Fantastic.
I apologize for that.
Please conclude. Please make that point. Finish your point.
So what I'm saying is the institutions of government have been hollowed out. And what we've got to do is make sure we strengthen those. And the best way to strengthen them now is to be able to find individuals that are not compromised in those positions, that may not be seen to be acting impartially, whether it's the Public Protector or, in this instance, the person of the President, given that they are intra-political matters. That's why I've called strongly that Parliament must be reformed. It must be capacitated on the Phala matter. A committee should be established so that the President can account to it, and then recommendations can be made. And then furthermore, on the Public Protector matter, a judicial issue must be ensued to make recommendations as to a suspension, because clearly the powers given to the President to be able to act in this matter cannot be isolated from the matters he's facing himself. So
I'm curious about the practicality of what you're suggesting, right? So the establishment of an independent process, perhaps by former members of the judiciary, to look at whether the Public Protector should be suspended while Parliament continues with that 194 impeachment process. And when you look at the fact that the Public Protector in the next year or so will no longer be Public Protector because her term will end, would we have been better off as a country had she just been left in post while Parliament continues the process? What harm would it have done to leave her there?
Not at all. No government is obligated to fulfill the mandate of a person all the way through. If the person is unfit for office, they are unfit, whether it be the President, whether it be a judge, whether it be a Public Protector or any Chapter 9 institution. If you are unfit for office, you need not stay there for the duration of your part. These people are appointed, particularly in the institutional basis, and therefore if they are unfit, they can move. In fact, if you want to remove the President, you can do so through a motion of no confidence. So we're not obligated to just stick to the term limits. And I think that given that the office of the Public Protector will continue, whether the individual is there or not, I think fitness for office must be tested. But what I'm only affirming here is that you are dealing with a President who is acting from a compromised position, because it would be seen in political terms, and that's why it's crucial that, as the same as we did with the Zondo Commission, the same as we did in other commissions, that actually this can be independently handled, because clearly these are internal political matters within the ANC.
So the Public Protector tweeted shortly after that announcement from the presidency, and one of the tweets read, "Do not be deflected," her words, "Glencore and Farmgate, a luta continua." Do you read this as a deflection from the president's legal and political trouble?
No, I think that it's improper of the public protector to be able to do that. Firstly, the tweet is woefully inappropriate, simply from a person who is investigating a very serious matter. Again, those investigations can then be seen in political terms. South Africans have been ill-treated here. Who's losing out on this issue? It's not the president, it's not the public protector, it's you and I, it's fellow South Africans. It's the fact that we sit at home, know none the wiser about Pala, none the wiser about Glencore, none the wiser about any of these issues, because they get marred in political terms. We need to sober those issues. The president should not be going to the ANC's Integrity Committee. He must come to Parliament. And the public protector, likewise, must appear before an independent judicial inquiry that is able to make recommendations for a suspension so that we clear ourselves of the politics rather than dealing with these innuendos and inferences. We need hard evidence, and they must be dealt with politically. That's what the restoration of the state must be, rather than leaving the state to be, if you like, captured by the political factional battles in the ANC.
So let's talk about the president then. The EFF today, at the beginning of proceedings, disrupted the start of his address, and then he started to speak, and then there were other disruptions from that. Not a surprise, because the party had basically said it would give him the same treatment it gave former President Jacob Zuma in the Nkandla years. Now, in a statement tonight, the EFF is basically saying that it will continue to do the same and confront the president wherever he goes to speak, and it will hold him accountable. Is this the best way to get that accountability?
You know, I think if we step back to just the reason I've fought so much for electoral reform is because political parties, both the ANC, the EFF, and the DA, do not fear citizens. They don't care about the people. So any form of accountability is political theater, because our institutions are also weakened as a result of that. Parliament has been woefully useless. Let's all be honest. State capture would not have happened if we had a strong parliament. And in the same manner, the only avenue that we should have now is not when the president comes to speak in parliament. An ad hoc committee must be established, and the president must subject himself to that. It was the same for President Jacob Zuma. It must be the same for President Ramaphosa. He must be given an opportunity to come somewhere and make representation as to what happened. It is the place where us as citizens can be able to be furnished with the appropriate information as to what exactly happened. And in there, you can call experts from SARS and the Reserve Bank so that we get to understanding about the money. But the theatrics that sit in Parliament and disruptions only serve theatrics. They don't really resolve to the bottom of whether the president was legally allowed to be holding to amount of cash. What is the state of the robbery, if there was one? And ultimately, is there any other further cash and declarations that have been brought forward by the president? These are the questions that South Africans need to know, not how the EFF want to disrupt or not disrupt.
Mmusi Maimane, good to have your time. Thank you very much, sir.